Good morning, everyone. Nicole, I think we're ready to start when you are, my dear.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, good morning, everybody. I wanted to welcome you out to our March segment of Start with Safety. My name is Nicole Rilk, and I am the Traffic Safety Manager here at Utah Safety Council. Our topic today will be road construction safety with Bruce Bailey, who is from UDOT. Remember to message us on chat with any questions or comments that you might have. We're also recording this webinar, and we'll send it out to whoever is attending. Bruce has been instructing for Utah Safety Council for about 3 years. I will now turn the time over to Bruce, and he can tell us more about his history and his message about road construction safety.
Okay, thanks, Nicole. I have had a background for the past 10 years in doing all sorts of safety, from investigations to training the safety out there. In my career doing safety, I've been exposed to, well, more than my share of injuries and fatalities. Many of the most intense times were when I was in the oil field. There it seemed to have a fatal every day in several areas. Of course, this was a very large area, so I don't really want to over exaggerate the difficulties, but I also don't want to downplay the struggle of how injuries and fatalities affect everybody on the job. So that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about today, a little bit about my background. I also have the ability and the opportunity to be certified Triple T through ATSA. That's a certification that few are given the opportunity to obtain. Excuse me. This has been one of those positions that put me in the center of many difficult and different traffic control mishaps. So I have had the less than desirable sides of the safety manager duties during this. I've worked on the backstory of the injuries and the accidents that have occurred during my career. This includes trying to come to the conclusion of what went wrong and how to mitigate any future occurrences. I'm sure we all have those in our careers. The ones we lose sleep over, the ones that will forever change our lives, and the ones that deeply affect us and how we deal with them and what we've learned from them and how we can pass that knowledge on to others. So I want to start off with a question. What is your professional? And I know that's an open concept, and I'm going to kind of come back to that as I progress through this. Because everybody's definition of what their professional is probably going to be a little bit different, but kind of keep that in your mind of what I'm asking you. So as I spoke just a second ago, some of the difficult times I've been involved in that's really affected me. I'm going to hit a couple of them independently and explain what happened, and hopefully explain why they were so much a part of affecting the direction I've went with my career. So the first one, probably the most troubling one I've been on, was a fatal involving our traffic control supervisor on State Road 85. This was a gentleman that many on the crews have become to know and know very well. He was very liked, very knowledgeable, and really done his job stellar. And the day that he was killed, the word slowly spread of the accident. A lot of unknowing was going on, as with any type of accident. It kind of went through the grapevine slowly. A lot of misinformation, a lot of people not really knowing what was going on. Now, he was the supervisor, so he had several crews out there that he was responsible to go give shift changes for, take drinks to, so on and so forth of what his duties were as that, as well as checking all the traffic control. So you can imagine how things deteriorated quite rapidly on there. And especially as the news came out that this was a fatal accident, and then everyone was kind of wondering, you know, what happened. So any of us that's been involved on fatals on our jobs, we always have that question, you know, of how we want to process the information out to everybody. And progressing through the day and the following days, it really affected everybody on the job site. Again, this was somebody who was well liked. Myself, I actually, you know, knew him on a personal level, and very likable guy. So as we progressed through the system, it was really difficult to make the judgment calls and how to keep the job running and keep everybody on board with that. So that's my first one. The second one was also involving a fatal. This one happened to be on Bangor Highway with a traffic control technician. Excuse me. Working all night long on traffic control. This particular traffic control technician, we were just finishing up the day, and a work vehicle that had been driving through the traffic control all night ultimately ended up hitting and fatally injuring the traffic control technician. This too was another one where a lot of the different people on site got to know who they were working with, got comfortable working around them. And this one, the word spread very rapidly to the point that it was actually easier to shut the job down. Everyone was affected with it. Everybody really had a negative impact on them. Taken to consideration, this was the end of the shift. Everyone was tired, and having that happen on our job site was detrimental to us. Now, one that did not involve a fatality, thank goodness, was actually on Bangor Highway on 134th. This happened to be one that I was actually on my off time and was driving somewhere. I don't recall where I was driving, but as I drove by, I saw some workers right off the side of the road in a trench. And I could see that the trench was deep enough that all I could see was their hard hats. So I pulled over and stopped and contacted the supervisor on that job, talked to him a little bit about what was going on, and let him know that those folks were in the trench without a trench box or without any type of protection. So ultimately what happened is they got shut down. They were very unhappy about it, angry that I had stopped, especially on my own time, and basically shut them down. Within a half hour, a car lost control in that intersection, skidded out of control, and actually landed right over the trench where the workers were. So I take that as a positive that could have been something that was catastrophic. Now, I think a lot of us probably are aware that over the weekend, there was another trench cave in. And so when talking about roadside safety, I don't want to ever look over the safety involving trenches and trench boxes. And I'll address those here in a little bit as well. So in work zone safety, as I continue, traffic control is one of the big topics, and I'll be talking about that today. And when I use the acronym TTC, that is temporary traffic control. I've inspected and assisted in countless control issues and setups. There are many different entities that call me when they have temporary traffic control issues. As I said before, this gives me the opportunity to investigate and to find gaps in the processes and standards that may have to be improved. It also gives them the opportunity to grow their knowledge with proper TTC. Work zones have a large number of injuries and fatalities. So according to workzonesafety.org, the number of auto fatals in 2019, I'm going to try to share this screen with you. Hold on with me just for a second while I pull that screen up. All right, I'm having a little bit of trouble pulling that up. I apologize.
Okay, so at the very bottom of your Zoom, if you hover over down there, does a menu bar pop up?
Yeah, it just does not have the one I'm trying to pull up though.
Oh,
Oh, okay, here we go.
okay.
All right. So as I go over these, 762 fatal crashes, 842 fatalities. Truck involved had 247 crashes and 288 fatalities. And another big one to look at is pedestrians, 136 crashes and 133 fatalities. Hitting on the worker safety is a huge one. And these numbers are just actually astronomical. If you look at what the numbers are in the past, the fatal crashes over the past 3 years average have been 693. So we went up more than 10% in those statistics on that. If it's not bad enough, now I'm going to show you another one. These are all injuries. Is that on there now? Okay.
Not yet.
Sorry, my computer's being a little slow. It had some issues last night. Do we have it now?
Yes, you do.
Perfect, thank you. So these are some scary numbers. Total crashes, 123,000. Previous 3-year record, or average, excuse me, not record, is 112,000. Again, up 10%. 31,000 injury involved crashes, 45,000 injuries. The one that stayed the same was truck involved, 3,000 crashes. All the other ones have went up nearly 10%. So we kind of have to ask ourselves, why is this happening? As we're trying to improve how our safety performances are going on there. So what's changed in those? Is it more vehicles on the road? Maybe more impatient drivers? A lot of them actually have traffic control set up wrong. So the traveling public going through there, they're unsure what to do. And of course, the things we all live by, right, are cell phones. Cell phones are a huge distraction out there as well. So they could all be contributors. The fact is, there are more drivers on the road. Drivers have grown much more impatient, and traffic control is often insufficient. It needs to be set up properly. But the main cause that we found for most accidents in work zones are rear end accidents. And that is due to people not paying enough attention. Speed is generally also a factor in a large amount of those. So when you start looking at how do we control this? How do we mitigate this? How do we control what the public does? That's where traffic control comes in. You can control the work zone if you follow the standards and guidelines. Every TTC zone must have a traffic control plan. Do not confuse us with the transportation management plan, which I'm going to kind of hit here in a little bit. But the traffic control plan is required for all work zones, both a written and a drawing on those. And what this does is it gives you specifics about what has to be in those traffic control plans. So now I'm going to flip to another screen to show you what I'm talking about when I talk about a traffic control plan. So what this is this is a standard general standard drawing. This is some typical traffic applications. And what these do is they go through and they let us know exactly where everything's supposed to be. These have to be approved, signed off, and whatever entity you're doing the work for, they have to know what's going on with these. So when I go out to a job site and I start looking at this, this is one of the first things I ask for is, where is your traffic control plan? And the MUTCD, the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices, also has some standard drawings in there of some standard typical projects, if you will, but each one can be different in certain facets. And so that also has to be in there. One thing to add to these is what's called an internal traffic control plan. So this is different from the traffic control plan that you're going to put out there. What the internal traffic control plan is it's a tool that project managers can use to coordinate and control the movement of workers, construction vehicles, and equipment. So the traffic control plan is about controlling how the traveling public is going to get through that work zone. And the internal traffic control plan is more for the workers on site. Where are vehicles going to be? Where is equipment going to be? Where's the activity area? Who's going to be doing what activity, stuff like that. This is also an important part of making sure that the work zone's safe. And these should be handled in a briefing every single morning before they go. So the activity area is the section of the highway where the work activity takes place and is comprised of, the workspace, traffic space, and buffer space. The ITCPs intend to promote the safety of roadway construction personnel at the roadwork site by assessing and providing countermeasures for the various hazards within the work zone. The main benefit of the ITCP, is increased worker safety due to better management of the workers' equipment interactions in the activity area. This is where a lot of the injuries are coming from. This is where a lot of our pedestrian incidents come from, the struck by a work vehicle or a heavy piece of equipment that, again, is going back to those statistics, is a large part of the injuries and fatalities that happen in a work zone. Important secondary benefits include enhancing the contractor's ability to communicate protocols for safe movements in the activity area during pre-construction and project safety meetings, as well as the possible optimization of efficiency in the activity area. So use of the ITCP in daily safety meetings is necessary to make all project personnel aware of how to perform their jobs safely. This way, everybody knows what they're doing, what other people are doing. So the surprise factor should not take place in that. And if somebody sees something out of place, they would immediately know to notify somebody to correct that. The ITCP should be discussed at the pre-construction meetings along with the overall safety plan. Common worker injuries and fatalities for construction operations should also be discussed along with injury reduction measures contained in that ITCP notes. Critical parts of the ITCP, truck access points, staging areas, they should all be discussed and approved by the contracting agency. So I know when we do our pre-construction meetings and we go over what these ITCPs are, if there's something that, you know, is just not going to make sense, let's say a truck getting back out into travel and getting up to speed, we would at that point in time address that and find some ideas and possibly a safer measure to do that. Also, signing within the activity area also complements and reinforces the traffic control elements outlined in the plan. The safety officer, all of us, and designated competent person for each shift should use the ITCP to illustrate the safety plan for the construction operations. If changes to the ITCP are necessary as the project progresses, then the assigned safety officer should be in charge of getting the changes approved and how they're going to communicate that to everybody on site, all contractors, everybody. And they should also be responsible for warning the workers or vehicle operators of violating the ITCP. These violations could include workers that are out of position or working in pedestrian-free zones, truck drivers operating at higher speeds, cell phone usage. Cell phone usage happens to be, you know, a huge pet peeve of mine. I'm of the firm belief that there should be zero tolerance for cell phone usage on site. And most companies have these policies in place, but what I've seen, they rarely enforce it. When I'm out on a project, and I've been on one in particular where it was a late night paving operation. The truck driver was backing into the paver. There were people all over on the ground doing work, and he is manipulating his phone as he's backing up. And like I said, that's a huge pet peeve of mine, and I do have a zero tolerance that I believe, you know, they should leave the job site if that's what it was. Now, of course, they, you know, usually turn into some sort of disagreement. And I'm of the firm belief that, you know, I really don't care if you're listening to Pandora or talking on the phone or texting or reading emails. That phone has no business when you're in the work zone, let alone backing into a paver with pedestrians and workers all over the place. So just a couple considerate, that's just my soapbox theory on that. So I'll get off my soapbox now. But to cover some more considerations when using the ITCPs, it should promote worker safety based on the objectives listed in the contract. There's a job that has to be done. And as safety professionals, our job is to make sure that that job gets done safely. Any documents and customized for that particular construction site should be in there. That could be in the special notes or in a separate section. Seasonal and environmental conditions need to be taken into account with that, as with any type of paving operation or trenching operation. Slight change in the weather can mean the difference of being able to work that day safely or having to change the duties and come back another day to finish that part. The traffic pattern on-site route diagrams in the ITCP should be based on the construction phase sequences. So in other words, if you're doing certain phases of construction, make sure that it's addressed what will be done in each phase, so that people don't get comfortable with, you know, we've been doing it this way for a week now, so this is what I expect when I come in here. We want to keep them involved and engaged in all the changes going on. And as we go through the different phase sequences, we want to make sure that they're keeping up with that. Communication and coordination between workers regarding operations positions and movement should be done before arrival to the construction site. This is something you don't want to have going on the construction site. That is just causing yet another danger. Traffic flow around the work zone are not the primary concerns of the ITCP and should be incorporated with the temporary traffic control plan, which we went over just a minute ago. So the ITCP should comply with both the FHWA and OSHA regulations. Any questions on those? You can find a lot of information on both workzonesafety.org, OSHA, as well as the FMCSA, FHWA. They all have some great information on all of those. So then we're going to kind of move forward to traffic management plans. Now, traffic management plans are a little bit different. What they do is they encompass kind of all of these things. They really cover the temporary traffic control plans as well as the individual traffic control plan for the employees, but it has some different parts in it. And one is public information. So when we're looking at how we get this information out to everybody, we utilize public information, whether that be door hangers, radios, certain construction zone radio channels that'll kind of tell you what's going on, briefings on the news. There's a lot of times we'll have the news come out if there's going to be a large project and kind of tell everybody what we're going to be doing. And therefore, that has proved to cut down dramatically on the amount of people that come through the traffic control area. A lot of people will plan accordingly and go around it. But let's be honest, not everybody's going to do that. And we're all creatures of habit, right? And so I think most of us can agree when we wake up in the morning, we find a system that works for us. If we drink coffee, we know how long it's going to take to drink that cup of coffee, or for some of us, 2 or 3 cups of coffee. How long your shower is going to take. So when it comes down to it, what time do you leave your house? Do you travel the same route every day going to work, or do you kind of break it up and due to boredom or whatever, you just go different areas? For the most part, as humans, we find the shortest route and we find the most convenient way to get from point A to point B, and that's when we leave. So if we're used to leaving at 7 o'clock every single morning, and whether we know or don't know about a construction site that's going to be active, there are some that will not change and will not leave earlier, will not leave and take a different route. So then as soon as we slow them down, now we've got irate drivers. Now we've got irate public. And that's one thing that causes a lot of issues out there as well. So through the proper traffic control plans, that's when we're going to get them doing what we need to do. So in work zone incident statistics, it indicates that there is room for improvement in safety for both workers and motorists. And these 3 steps before help with that. There's also some things with new technology that we've really began to use a lot of, and they're called work zone intrusion alerts. They're widely used for highway work. It's a very loud area to be in when you're on the side of the road doing work zone safety or doing construction work on the side of the road. So imagine trying to warn workers that are 100 feet away when you have to yell to somebody who is 10 feet away because of the noise of traffic. So thankfully, technology has helped us with these intrusion alert technologies, and implementing work zone intrusion alert technologies in a highway has proven to reduce the accidents in the work zones and improve the safety of roadway construction and maintenance workers. So current work zone intrusion alert technologies can be improved to increase their adaptability. And really what that is it is some sort of an alarm that you can set on a cone or barrels or drums. And if an errant vehicle goes through that, then it will sound a loud, high-pitched noise that will let people know really what's been going on. So through following the TTC plans, which is part 6 of the MUTCD, the Manual for Uniform Traffic Control Devices, this is something that I urge everybody who is involved in any type of road construction to become very familiar with. They are standards and laws that must be followed. And really, we have to keep in mind that this covers everybody who uses any public access roadway. So it doesn't have to be a freeway. It doesn't have to be a city street. If it is open to public access, then these TTC guidelines have to be taken into account, have to be followed. And one thing to end this on is working with ADA. When there are any type of work zone hazards on the side of the road, please keep in mind that ADA has a lot of different requirements that you have to follow. We cannot interfere with any sort of travel for blind, disabled, anybody who would fit into the ADA categories. And so we have to take that into consideration. That has to be in our traffic control plan. That also has to be in our traffic management plan of how we're going to do that to safely get pedestrians, bicyclists, whoever around in traffic safely. That is our jobs. And I want to thank you. That is all I have.
Great, thank you so much, Bruce. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Bruce about road construction safety? Okay. All right. Well, Bruce, thank you for taking time to talk to us about road construction safety. We appreciate you. Now I will just take and turn the time over to our director, John.
Hi, I'm John Wojciechowski. Thank you, Bruce, for being here in the presentation. I think a lot of us know in the safety world that sometimes or most times the most hazardous part of your day is just getting to work or the job site. And so, you know, with Bruce's expertise and knowledge, and you know, we can pass that on, that you know, just slow it down and let's all get to work safe. So. And thank you all for being here. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes and just hype up our conference that's coming up on March 16th and 17th, just a couple of weeks away. So if you haven't heard, things are going well. We have over 40 exhibitors registered and signed up and eager to engage with attendees. And speaking of attendees, we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of attendees. It's going to be awesome. Whatever you think you know about virtual conferences, this is going to be great. So we're excited to do it. Of course, you know, we hope and wish that in the future we can do this live. We're confident we'll be able to do it live at some point, but we are really excited about the lineup of speakers we've been able to curate this year. In fact, I'm confident that this is probably the best lineup of speakers we've had at this conference. That's been the positive thing about delivering a virtual conference, is that it's just enabled us to cast a bigger net for speakers. So we have speakers lined up from all across the country and all across Utah to provide their knowledge about safety here in Utah. And we're covering a wide range of topics, from OSHA to MSHA to oil and gas, traffic, healthcare, the military, emergency planning, and of course, COVID. So check it out, utahsafety.org. Registration is still open for both exhibitors and attendees. So check it out on the website, and then please reach out with any questions. So we hope to see you all there on March 16th and 17th. Okay, that's all I had. I'm sitting here awkwardly, but I can keep going if you want me to. I think.
Well, thank you, John. Thank you for sharing that. We're just a couple of things we want to run through really quick is just the agenda with everybody, what we've got going on here within our programs. I like to do that for all of these. My name's Cameron. I'm the Occupational Safety Training Program Manager here. So just a couple of things that I've got that I'm excited about upcoming here. We have our Safety Management Techniques course. That's starting tomorrow, actually. So there is still time to get in. That is a web-based course. If you're working on your advanced safety certificate, that's a great course to get taken care of there. It's going to really focus on what it takes to manage safety and actually implement those programs into your company, and kind of from the top down how that works with that process. We also have our OSHA 30-hour construction safety. That's going to be happening next week, the 9th through the 12th. And again, we do have open seats in there as well. So if that's something you've been thinking about, or you have some supervisors you need to get through there, make sure that you are getting them through into that one and signed up. We have exit routes coming up on the 4th, that's this week, and then incident investigation on Friday as well. We do have a general industry coming up that you can use with your member benefit. That's going to be at the end of this month, the 31st into April 1st there. So make sure that if you don't see what you need there, just reach out to me. I'm happy to accommodate. We can always do on-site trainings, and we can accommodate with web-based as well. So reach out to me with your needs, and we can make sure we get that set in. As far as our other programs here, Kenzie is actually out today. And Lisa, can you? Yep, perfect. So Kenzie just has a few classes coming up this month as well. We have a first aid Cpr Aed course on the 23rd. So again, that is a benefit class. So if you're a member with Utah Safety Council, make sure you're taking advantage of that. Get somebody in here. Doesn't cost you anything, and can really help you out when you need it. There's a Cpr Aed community class. So if your family, people from your churches, anyone really in the community has asked about that, or you're curious about it, definitely come to our Cpr Aed course. That's on the 27th. And then we also have an instructor course coming up in April. So if you do have somebody in your facility that you'd like to be training internally, and doing all those CPR first aid AED courses for your team, make sure you get registered for that one. Those courses do fill up pretty quick with the instructor courses. So if that is something you guys have thought about, make sure you get into that one. So that pretty much covers it for first aid, for emergency care, as well as our occupational safety programs. Just going to turn it over to Megan now, and I'll let her update everybody on mining refinery.
Hi, everybody. My name is Megan. I'm the manager of the MSHA and refinery program. So this program has actually been very busy over the past couple months, especially, but we are offering all web-based training for MSHA. So that's for both our surface annual refresher and our surface new miners, and you can see the dates up there. We also offer underground training every quarter, and that is coming up. So here coming up in March, if you need to get your underground training recertification, or if you would like to work in underground as a new miner, we do have one of those classes coming up too. And again, all that is web-based right now. It's actually been working really well. We've been visited by, I want to say, 4 or 5 MSHA offices from across the country. us being web-based doesn't just make it easier for our students, but it makes it much easier for MSHA to come over and check us out too and give us their opinion. And they've been very impressed and they've been very happy. So it looks like it's going to be sticking around. So we're going to continue to use web-based for right now for the safety and convenience of everybody. And if those classes fill up, I have been adding more dates also. Okay, and then for refinery, there we go. Good job. Thank you, Lisa. For refinery, Basic Orientation Plus has been in high demand lately. We usually offer it every other Tuesday. So we usually offer it 2 or 3 times a month. As you can see, we now have 5 dates up for March, and we will be adding more dates as needed. So if you're trying to sign up and a date fills up, go ahead and give me a call and I may be adding another one that week. Let's see. And then for the refresher, we are offering that in the computer lab by appointment Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And those registrations are actually just made over the phone. So give us a call and Cassie or I will help you with that. UITC, we are still offering that for if you're working with Silver Eagle, Chevron, Marathon, or Big West. And our next upcoming class is going to be on Tuesday, March 23rd. And we do still have seats available in that class also. So again, my contact information is there up on the screen. So if you have any questions or if you need a private class, we do still do those also. Just give me a call and I'll be happy to help. And I'm going to hand it over to Nicole. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Okay, for traffic safety updates, just wanted to send a reminder out to schedule your employees for defensive drive-in training. Just email me at nrilk@utahsafetycouncil.org to schedule your class. For March, we would like to partner up with NHTSA and highlight Vehicle Safety Recall Week, which is from March 8th through March 12th. NHTSA is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and NHTSA manages vehicle safety recalls, sets vehicle safety standards, and requires automakers to recall vehicles that have safety defects or do not meet standards. If your car has a recall, get it fixed. It could save a life. Also check your car for recalls at least twice a year and sign up to receive alerts about new recalls at nhtsa.gov/recalls. NHTSA wants to increase awareness and utilization of its nhtsa.gov/recalls website and has developed an online campaign to help build awareness and usage amongst the general population, including the auto buying public and select target audience. Just a couple facts about vehicle safety recalls. In 2020, there were 886 safety recalls affecting 55 million vehicles and other equipment in the United States. Unfortunately, about 25% of vehicle recalls are not addressed, which puts drivers, passengers, and others on the road at risk. We want to remind all drivers that recalls are easy to check, and free to repair. Here's a short little video from NHTSA. It's okay.
Keeping you safe on the road. Our team of investigators can determine whether a car or part. Your car is important to you. It keeps you on the go. But when your car or some of its equipment poses a safety risk, that's when we can help. We're the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, part of the U.S. Department of Transportation. But you can call us NHTSA. We're the folks dedicated to keeping you safe on the road. Our team of investigators can determine whether a car or part of a car needs an official safety recall. If the manufacturer initiates a recall, you'll be notified of the recall through first-class mail with an offer to fix it for free. You can easily find out if your car has been recalled Or sign up to receive email alerts about future safety recalls by visiting nhtsa.gov/recalls. At NHTSA, we believe safe cars save lives. Check for recalls at nhtsa.gov/recalls.
Okay, and now I will turn the time over to Lisa.
Waiters always look at me and think that I'm gonna have a little salad, maybe a soup, and that'll be the
Sorry, give me just a second here to fix these screens.
Gassy and couldn't poop, and she was tired and couldn't lose weight.
And he just took one look at me and said, "You have a problem
Okay,
with your gut.
can you-
Once you figure that
can you
out,
hear me,
all of
Nicole?
these things
Are
are
we
going to
good?
change for you."
Yeah, and all we did was made simple.
Oh, I don't know why that's sharing. Okay. How about that? Okay. So it's been a little challenging this morning, so thank you so much for your patience. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Lisa Christofferson, and I am the membership manager here at the Utah Safety Council. I'm going to wrap things up by just talking about a few of the membership benefits that you receive and some of the membership benefits that other companies have been taking advantage of this month. Just give you my little updates, and then we can conclude. So we wanted to share some of the things that are coming up. I know that Cameron was able to share the occupational stuff and the emergency care stuff, and Megan was able to share what's coming up for the mining and refinery world. And then we heard from Nicole. We also got to hear from John, who talked about our upcoming conference. And so I wanted to just remind everyone quickly, we do have that OSHA 10 construction or OSHA 10 general industry coming up, and that is a membership benefit. So the next two OSHAs, depending on what you need, are right there on your screen. We also have our first aid CPR and AED course coming up. Now, something that I just wanted to kind of hit on really quick is the past we had one a week or so ago, and it filled up really quickly. I know Cameron mentioned the instructor course, and that one's actually filling up very quickly too. So we have been trying to add courses, instructor courses, and first aid, CPR, and AED courses if you need that. So if for some reason you try to sign up for this, you want to use that benefit, or you need to get your people trained as instructors and you're not seeing it, please reach out because we are trying to add as things fill up. It just kind of happened quickly. And so please let us know if you have a need that we're not meeting there, because we want to make sure everybody's taken care of. We also want to remind everybody, I know last month we talked a little bit about AEDs last month. We focused a lot on the heart. We want to remind everybody, if you didn't have an opportunity to take advantage of that, we have worked with a couple of companies to schedule some consultations, some virtual consultations where that's needed, or even just some questions. So if you're still interested, we are still doing that. We can kind of extend a special or two if we need to, but we want to make sure everybody is taken care of when it comes to their AEDs. So please don't forget that we do that walkthrough when you need it. We can definitely help you out. The next thing on that list there is our upcoming Start with Safety. So we've got some interesting ones coming up. Next month, we're going to talk about distracted driving. And then we've got our NFPA 70E updated standards coming up in May. June is National Safety Month, and so we're working with a lot of our partners, including Workers' Compensation Fund, but we're working and trying to get and gear up for National Safety Month. So that one we'll be talking about some ideas that you can use for National Safety Month to bring awareness into your workplace and to help supplement your safety training programs in your workplaces with maybe some new ideas or some tools that might help you for National Safety Month. So get ready for that one. The next event that I've got on my list there is in conjunction with our conference. I know John had mentioned a few of our speakers and some of our breakouts, and something that we really enjoy doing every year when it comes to our Utah Safety Conference and Expo is engaging with the Women in Safety organization. And so this year, what we are going to do, since our event is virtual, we have what we're calling is the Game Changer Challenge. So over the past year, we have heard a lot of amazing ideas when it comes to safety. Just sometimes they can just be small things that have a big impact, or we've just been able to benchmark and learn a lot from each other. And so we wanted to kind of create a great forum to share some awesome ideas and reward that. So we'll be doing the Game Changer Challenge, and you can submit an idea. You can just participate and engage and learn about the ideas. We're going to be doing bingo and some trivia, just some games and sharing of amazing safety ideas that are impactful. So that should be a really fun, exciting time. I'm really looking forward to doing that in conjunction with our conference. So if for some reason you are unable to come to the conference but still want to engage with this, you can still sign up. I'll make sure to include the sign up link in our follow-up email today, but please still sign up. And if for some reason you're having issues, with getting the conference information or whatever, please reach out as well, but I'll make sure to include that. But please don't think that you have to go to the conference to attend the Women in Safety, and also please don't think it's a requirement, but we'd love to see anybody that wants to participate in that. Okay, next up, I just wanted to talk quickly about a couple of our membership benefits that some of our companies have been taking advantage of. The first one is our conference and expo that's coming up. Super exciting. We kind of started out a little bit bummed that it was going to be virtual, and how are we going to make it still amazing and engaging. And like John mentioned before, we're really excited because we get to have people come and participate, and we are going to do some things that maybe we wouldn't be able to do if we were going to do it in person. So makes it a little more convenient for people nationwide to participate. And so we're excited to include some maybe speakers that we wouldn't be able to have, and also some exhibitors that we wouldn't necessarily be able to have in person. They're able to join us by doing it virtually. So we're really excited that it's going to kind of turn out hopefully better than even expected. So please don't forget about that. I did mention the Women in Safety. We have that planned, our event at the conference, and then we have another event coming up the following month, and we try to do those every other month, and we're just going to kind of build on what we're learning. So we'll keep you posted as far as that goes. NETS is a traffic safety resource, and I'm going to kind of show you where to find that. And then we have traffic safety resources on our website. I think when I first came to the Safety Council, one of my biggest surprises was just how much information that we have when it comes to driving and traffic safety, and how many great resources that we do have and that we can share with our members and our member companies, and they can share with their employees. So I just want to show you a couple of things there. And then streaming. If you're not streaming, you need to be. There are over 2,000 videos available to stream, and they all come with kits that include a quiz, a certification form, leader guides, user guides. I mean, they all kind of come with different things, but it's not just the streaming. So I did do a search, and I looked at different driving ones, and there's fleet management. So I kind of usually will pick a couple to share, but there was just so many, and I know that everybody kind of has different resources and needs when it comes to driving in their workplace. So that just would be my suggestion, is to kind of search that and then narrow down, find out what you need. If it's too overwhelming, we've got our website, we've got the streaming, we've got everything going on. We've got NETS that I'm going to show you. Please reach out to Nicole or to me. We're happy to kind of go through what your individual needs are within your companies and help you find what is going to benefit you most. So don't hesitate to reach out. Okay. The next one I wanted to show you just quickly is on our website. Some of those traffic safety resources that I had mentioned. If you just visit utahsafetycouncil.org, select defensive driving, And then I guess you can't see it if I point to it, but down to traffic safety resources, you'll see that little circle there, and the guy looking in the rear view mirror. That's where you want to select, and that will open up a whole bunch of resources for you. This is kind of what it looks like, and you scroll down and there's quite a bit. So you're going to scroll to the bottom and you'll have all the information from our website, and then you'll have access to nets and all of those other things. So this is a great example of just one of those little things that you'll find on our website. Just a quick PDF. This is what it looks like, a 5-minute safety talk, aggressive versus friendly driving. So these are great, great little tools that you can use for your daily briefings, for your weekly toolbox meetings, for your monthly safety meetings, whatever you do, whatever your process is. There are short things, there are long things, and it's just a great place to go find what it is that you're specifically looking for, or what specifically would help benefit your organization the best. So that is what I wanted to share. Once again, if the good word is reach out, and we're happy to help. If you need first aid class, if you need some of those occupational things, if you need help signing up for the conference or traffic safety resources, we are here and happy to help you find anything that you need. Again, we did record this session today, and I will send out a wrap-up email with a few helpful links, and hopefully that will get you what you need. But again, we just want to thank Bruce, thank our partners at UDOT. They work so hard to keep our roads safe. I mean, just driving this past weekend in the snowstorm, I can't even imagine the scope of responsibility that they must feel, and how hard they work to try and keep us safe. And they do it because they care and they want us. They want all of us, and they want Utah to be a safe place to drive. And we want Utah to be a safe place to live and work. So again, thank you for participating with us today. We look forward to seeing you at the conference, and we look forward to next month's Start with Safety. Hope you have a wonderful, great, and safe month. Thanks.